guys, it's Sav, and today I'm going to be doing a Canon T5i 2-month update. So if you guys watch my unboxing, which you can watch here, then you will know that I ordered this off of Facebook Marketplace, and all the information will be in the description below with what I paid and what it's worth. But I was a little bit nervous to order it from Marketplace because obviously you can get scammed pretty easily, but this one did have the purchase protection. It took just a couple of days to get here, and I unboxed it in the video and I filmed my reaction. And now that I've had it for 2 months, I felt like I should do kind of an update post just so you guys can see how I like the camera and if it's something that I would buy again. I have had several photo shoots with this camera, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about each and some of my favorite things that I have done with the camera so far. I've taken a couple of portrait sessions, which is kind of what I wanted to do originally when I got it. I wanted it to be kind of like artistic in the photos that I captured. I don't know if they really are, but I want them to kind of send a message. I don't really want them to be pointless. Of course, I want people who are in the photos to also feel beautiful, so that's also kind of my goal with it. This one is my friend Lexi. She was my first portrait session that I had done, and I just asked her, I was like, do you mind possibly just meeting up with me in town one day? And we were there for like 2 hours, and I don't remember exactly how many photos I got, but it was a big learning process with editing and all those sorts of things. But I did really like a lot of the photos I got her. She's an incredible model, so I wanted to have her model for me. And so she did, and here are some of the photos that I got of her. I really liked them a lot, and they're still some of my favorites that I've taken so far, even after 2 months. And this was like a week after I got the camera, so it was pretty new. And I just feel like I learned so much in those 2 hours, and even following that editing, it took me a while because I was so used to it. I'll link below the editing software that I'm using. I'm just using the free version of it, and I kind of hate it, so I don't recommend it, but I'll still link it. I think it's Darkscape. I'm not 100% sure. I don't like it, but I didn't want to spend money on like a Photoshop app if I wasn't going to use it that often, if that makes sense. So I wanted to wait until I could see how much I'll use it. So that was Lexi's photo shoot. I have like honestly some of my favorite photos. So the next portrait session that I did was with my mom, and I think I've just done one with her, but I wanted to do one that I dressed her in my clothes, and I did 2 different outfits, and you'll see those here. I like these photos, but I don't love them. There are some things I'm looking at now that I don't really like about them, but this was really fun. Obviously, she did a really good job as well, just following my directions, which I am working on, as well as, you know, my directions to my models, because they can't see themselves, and it's my job to make sure that they look their best. And yeah, so here are some of those photos. I did really like them. And near the end of that shoot, I did take a couple of photos of my brother as well, because he was there, and I was like, here, take some photos. So here's one of him alone, and then I also have some of him and my mom together, and I really love the sun in these photos. Oh, I love it so much. Now, for every single one of those photos that I just talked about, I used this lens. So right now I have this lens on, and here's the comparison of their sizes. As I talked about in the unboxing, but I will just briefly say it again. The smaller one on my camera right now is an 18 to 55 millimeter, but this one is my favorite so far. I just find it to be so easy to use in so many different settings. And it is a 55 to 250 millimeter lens. I love it because I feel like 55 is a good length, is a good range for portraits, but 250, like, that gives you a lot to work with. And this is the one I'll use mostly, like, honestly mostly, because I just like the range that it gives me, that I can take photos of a bird in a tree, or also a person walking right in front of me. Like, that's really nice in my opinion. So far I'm liking this a lot. This came with the set, and I'll have the worth and then what I paid below as well in case you're interested in this, but I love it so much. That being said, I do really want to try to use this lens a little bit more. I haven't had that much practice with it. I just feel like the focus, I don't know what the terms, I'm sorry, the focus stuff and the zoom stuff, these dials, they are a lot more sensitive, and this one's a little bit easier to maneuver. So I'm just gonna have to get used to this one, which I want to do sometime soon, but I know this is pretty good for portraits. So yeah, this one is my favorite so far, and I did use this 55 to 250 millimeter lens for all the photo shoots that I've talked about thus far, so the portrait sessions. So the next portion of this video is going to be about taking photos at my brother's soccer games. Now, this was the biggest learning experience for me, and of course I did use this 55 to 250 millimeter lens for basically all of them. Now, I'm not going to be able to post a lot of pictures because I don't want to post pictures of random high school students. Even once I posted on my Instagram, I did ask their permission, but I just feel it's more permanent on a YouTube video. I don't know. So I'm just not going to post anyone but my brother on these. And if I do have a team photo on here, it will be without any faces showing. So I just wanted to say that this was the biggest learning experience for me, because obviously the lighting of a stadium is so different than like just being outside in natural lighting, because his games were later in the afternoon. They usually started at 7 or 7:30, and so it was dark by the time I got there, and it was stadium lighting. And it was interesting to see just how I could do it, you know, determining my ISO. Was it going to be too blurry? But I needed the extra exposure. It was just this whole ordeal, and it was a big learning experience. Okay, it's a little bit discouraging sometimes because I wasn't getting the photos that I wanted, and the really good shots were blurry because I was trying to move really quickly. And the higher your shutter speed, the lower the exposure, and obviously I was already having to deal with low exposure. It was a whole ordeal, y'all. But I did get some good photos. Now here's one that I really liked from senior night that I totally obsessed with. I did edit this one, so there was red eye and all that stuff, and I did take this one with my flash. Now I love the flash on this thing, but it has just taken me a while to get used to it, and I haven't really found that much use for it either. Those were definitely the most difficult shoots that I did, and I probably did about 4, 5, 6 of those. I wanted to do something for them. Obviously my brother, I was going to be at the game anyway, and then why not just practice, you know? So I did do that. Okay, so the next photos that I took were in nature. Now these are probably my favorites. Now like I said, portraits I thought were gonna be my favorite, but I just can't. I loved the nature photos that I took and I have taken. I love redbirds. There's like this sweet sentimental story, nobody cares, but my grandmother, who is now passed, used to tell me that redbirds, or cardinals, were loved ones, past loved ones who were coming to visit you and check on you. And so when I was taking photos outside one day, I kept seeing there were like 2 cardinals. And so I got some photos of them, and then I also got some photos of some robins, I believe, and I really liked them as well. These are some of my favorites. He was just posing for me. He was just chilling on the little post and posing for me, so I really liked those as well. And I've gotten a couple of other birds as well that I'll show here, and that I really liked, just not totally loved. And I really liked editing these, kind of seeing the different feelings that these photos could give with different editing styles. I also have some daffodils, which are already gone, sad, but here are some photos of the daffodils that I really liked. These are some of my favorite photos I have taken as well. So those are all the photos that I have taken so far. I have learned a lot in the 2 months that I have used this camera, and I have honestly been really pleased with it. I don't know, I don't really think I have any complaints specifically with the camera. It's been pretty nice for the price especially. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.